Expand your mind and enrich your world. It's time for another outstanding podcast from ICRT.
Welcome to another podcast edition of Taiwan Talk. I'm Keith Menconi. If you've ever watched Cartoon Network in Taiwan, then you know that the shows here sound a little different than they do in the U.S. We're talking, of course, about the dubbing. Mostly into Mandarin, but sometimes into Taiwanese as well. But it's not just a simple matter of translating straight from English to Chinese. In fact, Cartoon Network's dubbing studios in Taiwan spend weeks reworking the dialogue in shows like Adventure Time, The Amazing World of Gumball, and Regular Show, so the humor and the ideas will make sense to a Taiwanese audience. That's how they get from this...
Nah, it's cool. It turns out the pups can pretty much take care of themselves.
...to this.
Don't worry, 一切都很好. 原来我的孩子们个个都是猴塞雷的啦.
It's a complex process, and to tell us a little bit about it, I spoke recently to Cartoon Network's head of dubbing in Taiwan, April Chang. April, thanks so much for joining us.
Hi, it's my pleasure.
So could you talk a little bit about your standards when you're making these shows? What do you think that a good show should have in it to make it funny, to make it interesting to the local Taiwanese audience?
I have 3 key points. The first one is the most important one is to be localized. To be localized on voice or on the dialogues or on song lyrics or on names. Very care about the naming. For example, like show title, episode title, character names, or even the places mentioned on the show, like a coffee name, school name, or any other names. If we just follow the English scripts and people will feel not familiar. So we just totally localize that. And I think that's the most important thing. And second point is to be creative and entertaining. To be creative, we have many different ways. For example, in Mandarin scripts, we add in many things which local kids or adults, they both are familiar. For example, the local celebrities like Zhou Jielun or Cai Yilin. And so the kids will know, when we mention Zhou Jielun or Cai Yilin, they will feel very funny. And also, we mention some places kids their parents often take them to go maybe 水上乐园, 八仙乐园, or some department store, 星光三月. But we will change that like 花光三月. It sounds funny. And the kids, when they watch cartoon, they will know, they will feel, Cartoon Network know what I like. They will feel familiar, feel something very interesting. And the third one is to be memorable. Because nowadays all TV channels rerun shows and Cartoon Networks we rerun shows as well. So I hope to make our audience, our viewers, when they see the rerun show and still feel interesting. We create something to be memorable and people feel that's interesting. So even they see the rerun show, they won't feel bored. For example, we create catchphrases for some important shows like maybe the people know the most is from Jack 老皮探险活宝的老皮 he say 猴塞雷啊 in Cantonese all the time. And 猴塞雷啊 actually just means amazing, incredible, but Jack say that all the time, so the kids just mimic it and just feel very interesting. And another example is Gumball. Gumball will say 天公伯啊 天公伯 is Taiwanese. That actually mean oh my god. Yeah, so that's another good example to be memorable.
When they speak, do you try to have the voices match up with the lips of the drawings?
Yes.
So that's a whole extra layer of complexity.
Yeah. It actually is very difficult. It's not easy, especially when the length of English sentence is different with Mandarin one. So we need to make it similar.
Which one's long? English sentences are longer?
Longer, normally.
So you have to add lots of extra words in the Mandarin?
Yes, and still make it interesting.
I see. Oh man, there's so many little parts of this. So we've been talking mostly about what you try to add to the shows. I'm also a little bit curious, is there any way in which you try to keep things in the show? Like Adventure Time, for example. I think that what a lot of kids really like about it is it has this kind of this feeling of exploration, and they're learning about this weird world where everything is kind of magical and exciting. If that's the thing that makes the original show interesting, do you try to preserve that from the original, or do you try to find something new and completely different? Does the show have a completely different feel?
If the show, of course, the original show, it got its own good parts, so we will keep that. We never change the DNA of the show, but we just we change more on voices and the lines. Yeah.
So I'm wondering, does your approach to these shows change from show to show? For example, I know that some shows would have like one episode would be one plot, and then we kind of forget about that, and it doesn't really matter so much. But for a show like Adventure Time, the history goes back so far, and, you know, one episode might reference something that happened 3 years ago, and you kind of have to remember all of those little things. So do you need to approach every show differently?
We do more localized works for comedies, but we also do something for action shows, like Ben 10. Ben 10 is very popular action shows. His space might not as much as comedies, but we still do the localized works. For example, for the two team heroes on Ben 10, Ben and Kevin, the way they talk to each other, just we want to make a Mandarin one just sounds like our normal kids or normal teenager, they talking to each other in Taiwan. So the normal way we work here is people just normally speak Mandarin with a little bit Taiwanese mixed together. So we decide to make a Ben. When Ben talk to Kevin, when they talk to each other, they will say something like 卖差啦. That means be quiet, or something like 后大卖照. How dare you, don't go. Yeah, something like that. We will add a little bit common and simple Taiwanese in their dialogues.
So we've already discussed this a little bit, but one thing that I noticed, so I can understand some of the Mandarin when I watch these shows, but I can't speak any Taiwanese, so I really notice it when there's Taiwanese. And it's not just Taiwanese, there's also accents from all over Taiwan. You can hear the difference between the people that have a northern Taiwan, southern Taiwan accent, and then there's also Cantonese accents that you hear as well. So can you tell us a little bit about how you decide what kind of voice these characters should have? And when a Taiwanese audience hears these voices, what does that say about the character to the audience?
We normally decide different accents depend on the character's looks and personalities. For example, like Jack of Adventure Time, the dog, he's a very, very special dog. He got very funny personalities. He got a magic power, and also he got lots of experience in life, a bit sophisticated. So from the very beginning, I just decided to make a very special voice for this dog. So we cannot just use a normal Mandarin. Actually, we try 3 different ways. Mandarin with Taiwanese accent, Mandarin with Cantonese accent. I also taught the talent to make a celebrity, Wang Weizhong. But in the end, we feel Mandarin with Cantonese accent is the best one. So that's how we decide the voice, the special voice for Jack. But normally for comedies, if we want to make a character sounds really funny and familiar, we will use Mandarin with Taiwanese accent. It's just like your everyday life, like your friend, your colleague, your family, or even people walking on the street, people on TV. You just hear that all the time. So when we want to make a character funny and familiar, we will use this. And another example is we sometimes also use Mandarin with a Hakka accent. That's also very funny. Actually, there's no rule for which accent for what kind of personality. Sometimes we just want to bring different comedic effects. For our another show, co-characters, I just decide to make a co-character to speak Mandarin with Hakka accent. For example, if I say I'm really scared, but in that way we'll say 我真的很害怕. So people will feel very funny because it's not a normal Mandarin.
So it tells you that there's something special about this character.
Yeah, and memorable. And people will feel very interesting when they watch these shows.
Now, I don't know how much American TV you've watched, but one thing that American directors do is when they want to tell an audience that this character is smart, a lot of times they'll use a British accent. I wonder, is there any accent that sounds smarter in Chinese?
Actually, not really.
Not really. So it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, no. Just as I say, there's no rules for this, just for different comedic effects. I just feel, well, in Taiwan, we have so many different language resources. And on the bus or the station, MRT, you can hear at least 4 languages: Mandarin, Taiwanese, Hakka, English. So you can, at least you already hear 4. And we still got some people speak Cantonese or something else, or the mainland accent, there's another one. So I just feel it's interesting to use all these resources in a flexible way.
So one thing that I notice is that some of the characters' names are translated, especially in Adventure Time, some of the characters' names are translated very directly from the English, like the Rainbow Princess, that's pretty direct. Princess Bubblegum, that's pretty direct. But then other characters like Jake becomes Lao Pi, and Finn becomes A Bao. So for those names where it's not so direct, can you explain a little bit about why you felt like you needed to change it a little bit more and how that sounds to the Taiwanese audience?
Okay, back 2 years ago, I actually, the show title, the Mandarin show title, on my mind first. So I don't want to just call directly, I don't want just translate Adventure Time directly. So I call 探险活宝. I want to add in 活宝 because A Bao and Lao Pi, Finn and Jack, they are actually they are 活宝. They are not typical heroes. They are just
kind of like class clowns.
Yes. So I want to add 活宝. So I have the Mandarin show title first, 探险活宝. And I started thinking the Finn's Mandarin name. I know I will never use Finn or Jack to do the direct translation. So I decided to use...
Just too boring?
Yeah, it's too boring for local kids. So I just use A Bao because A Bao is a very common name in Taiwan. You can hear, I think maybe hundreds of kids, their parents call them A Bao. So, and also that match our show title, 探险活宝. So A Bao is, the name just sounds like an innocent, very, very pure kids, a little boy, want to be a hero. And oppositely, the Jack, the dog, is very experienced, sophisticated old dog. He leads the little boy to do everything, to do adventures. So I want to give him a name like more special, more experienced. So we call him Lao Pi.
Does it have anything to do... I was talking to some of my colleagues here at ICRT, and their theory was that because Pi, like Pi Fu the Pi, so they think because he's a stretchy dog, so maybe you named him because he has really stretchy skin?
Actually, we didn't think that way.
想太多了.
But that was a good thought.
I'll have to tell them that. Well, that's really interesting to hear you say that, because especially for Jake, when an American hears that name Jake, that's a very normal name. Like, that's just nothing special about that name. You could meet 1,000 Jakes in your life, and they're just like normal people. And so to have a hero named Jake is a little bit funny, and it tells you something about what kind of hero this is. And so A Bao, you're saying that that's also like a common name, and anybody could be named that. So
yes,
it sounds like even though the translation is changing it a lot, the feeling is actually kind of the same in both languages.
Yes, true.
So you were nice enough today to bring a couple of clips so that we can actually hear what it is you're changing. So we have the original English clip and also the translated Chinese clip. So for this first clip, can you introduce a little bit about what's going on in this episode?
Finn is 探险活宝里面的阿宝. He's a hero on the show all the time, but one day decides to be ordinary people because he's so sick of being a hero. So he just trying to change everything. He changed his name from Finn to Davy. He changed his hair. He cut his long brown hair and become bald. Then he changed his work, changed his look, everything, and clothes, everything. And he just deeply believed himself is not Finn anymore. He's Davy. And of course, his best friend, Jack, the dog, was very nervous about this. So he tried hard to wake Finn up and tell him, you are Finn, you are not Davy.
So here we hear Jake confronting Finn, or right now, David. Let's listen.
Finn, what's going on?
You gotta start calling me Davy, mister. Because that's my name. Davy.
Aw, no, have you lost your teacups, man?
All right, that was the original English. Now let's hear the Chinese.
阿宝，你怎么了？
省心一下，你叫我阿琼，那是我的名。
枪枪枪！拜托阿宝，你这样入戏太深了。
So the first thing you notice in this clip, it's too bad our audience can't see the video, but the first thing that you notice is that Finn, who's now going by David, is bald. So what did you do to incorporate the fact that he's bald in this clip?
Because in the visual parts, it's very funny. The things David's hairstyle is bone, and it's bone in the middle parts. So in Mandarin, we call 地中海图. So it's quite similar to a very famous DPP politician, Su Zhenchang, Mr. Su. So that's why...
The former head of the DPP.
Yes. So we changed David to Ah Chong. Ah Chong is Taiwanese, and also Chong is Taiwanese of Chang. And also we emphasize his name is Ah Chong, nothing anymore. So he say, "What's Ah Chong? Chong Chong Chong." And Chong 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 also is a very famous slogan of Su Zhenchang.
So this character, which is Chang in Mandarin, means something like prosperity, but sometimes it also means like charge, like go, 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 go. And that's how it's meant when it's used as a slogan. But in this video, he just means chong, chong, chong. He's just saying, my name is...
Ah Chong.
Ah Chong, right. So it's kind of like a double meaning. Like he thinks he means one thing, but somebody who's watching this would make a connection to something else.
Yes, double meaning and double fun.
So the next thing you notice when you listen to this is that Finn, or David, in this clip, is not speaking Mandarin, which he usually in the show speaks Mandarin, but in this clip, he's actually speaking Taiwanese. So why is that?
Because Finn just deeply believes he is already another person. So we just use Taiwanese to be different. Yeah, it's Finn speak Mandarin and David speak Taiwanese. Ah Chong speak Taiwanese, so it's different.
So it's you're using this to let the audience know that this is like a totally different character.
Yes, in Finn's mind.
And then this last line in the script, I want to take a quick look at this. So Jake is saying, "Have you lost your teacups?" Which that must be really difficult to translate, because in English, I mean, what he's really trying to say is, "Have you gone crazy?" But this is such a weird way of saying it. Have you lost your teacups? So I'm sure that's not what they're saying in Mandarin. What are they saying in Mandarin?
Well, in Mandarin, we actually rewrote the line for Jack. We say, 阿宝你入戏太深了. That means, Jack, you just play too far.
Like in a theatrical sense. 入戏, like to act in a play, and 太深, too deep. So you're too deep into your play.
So you play too deep.
Yeah, you're playing too deep. You believe it too much.
Yes.
So we have another clip. This one is from The Amazing World of Gumball. What's going on here?
Gumball has a very super childish dad, and he likes to play pranks with his kids, Gumball and Darwin. So one day, Gumball's dad just chasing Gumball and Darwin around the living room. And so the two little boys, they are so nervous, they have no place to hide. So they just jump into the TV and to pretend they are actors or actresses or even pop singers from the TV. The funny part is we rewrote the soap opera from the English one and to become our Taiwan very traditional local drama.
Okay, so what we're listening to in this clip is we're listening to kids pretending that they're in a soap opera.
Yes.
All right?
I wonder what else is on TV.
How could you?
It's not what it looks like. Please, don't leave me.
No! It can never be the same again!
And now let's hear the Chinese.
来看看夜市人生吧。
地球怪魂啊！大姐唔是安呢，拜托，别离开我！你走啦，唔能够再来搞搞你啦。
So in the English version, the first line in that one is, I wonder what else is on. But I don't think that that's quite what he's saying in Chinese. What is he saying in Chinese?
Gumball Stay say, 我们看一下夜市人生吧. So 夜市人生 is a very famous local drama in Taiwan. I think everybody know. That means the life of night market.
So he's saying, let's watch my favorite soap opera, basically.
Yes.
So in the English version, the kid is saying, it's not what it looks like. Please don't leave me. In the Chinese version, of course, that's a little bit of Taiwanese that we heard just there. Why did you choose to do Taiwanese in this one? I guess that's what the soap opera's in, right?
Yes.
And can you explain a little bit about the soap opera? What kind of soap opera is this?
Very, very traditional local soap opera, and mostly like elderly people that like watching that. I think local people all know these styles of soap opera in Taiwan.
Okay, so what are these characters saying in Chinese? Is it a pretty direct translation?
No. Gumbo say, "You've gone too far," and Darwin say, "It's not what you think." And Gumbo say, "Go away, please. Just leave me alone, please."
So just a little bit different from the original English. So would the way that they're talking, would this be like in the style of the kind of soap opera that you were talking about?
Yes.
And I noticed that these are kids acting. How did you get them to act in that style? And what kind of style is this? Just like very dramatic?
We actually really show the traditional shows to the two kids. So I would say we want this tone and we want this kind of expressions.
So then this last clip is actually more of a song than a dialogue. This is another one from Gumball. What can you tell us about what's going on here?
It's following the same story. The Gumball stays chasing around in the living room and they pretend to be a pop singer. But we totally changed the rap song in English one. We changed the song lyrics and also the way to sing it. We use a very special Mandarin song and to sing that in a very funny way.
What's special about the Mandarin song? Is it something that everyone would recognize?
Yes.
A music video. Yeah, we are in a music video.
This is what you call a music video.
Oh, baby, we're singing. I'm in a music video. Run.
All right, and here's the Chinese.
我的字典里呀，没有放弃，没有放弃呀，因为已锁定你。我从来不写那空白的日记。哦，宝贝，那是因为日子里面全部都是你。酸。
What's the song about in this case?
Actually, just keep singing. There's no give up in my dictionary.
Oh, no such word as give up in my dictionary.
Yes.
Okay. So obviously, in the original, they're singing about being in a music video, so totally different from the original.
Totally.
And so in this one, the reason that it's funny is because people will recognize this song and they'll kind of know what it's a reference to.
Yes. They didn't expect to hear that song on cartoon, so they feel very funny.
We've been speaking to Cartoon Network's head of dubbing in Taiwan, April Chang. April, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. And please, everyone, watch Cartoon Network. You'll be happier.
Well, that's it for the interview today, but before we wrap things up, April gave us a longer clip from one of those scenes, both the original English and the Chinese dub, and I spliced it together so you can get a little bit more of that side-by-side comparison. So again, no more interview, but if you're like me and you can't get enough of this stuff, here again is the scene from Adventure Time, where Jake confronts Finn, who has decided he wants to become just a normal person.
I'm Davy.
Yeah.
I'm Davy.
我是阿强。
哈哈哈，对。
我是阿强。
Hey, Finn, you want to have dinner instead of breakfast today? Finn? That must be him.
嘿，阿宝，早餐不用这么搞纲啦。阿宝，他在干嘛啦？
What's going on?
Oh, hiya, mister. Thanks for putting me up last night. I'm just chopping some wood so I can build a little log cabin to live in.
发生什么事啦？
Good morning， 先生，多谢你昨暝收留我，我伫咧破茶，要去家己要大小木屋。
啊
Finn, what's going on?
You gotta start calling me Davy, mister. Because that's my name. Davy.
Oh, no, have you lost your teacups, man?
阿宝，你怎么了？
先生，请你叫我阿强，迄是我的名。强。
拜托，阿宝，你这样入戏太深了。
Mister, I don't know nothing about that. I'm just a working Joe, trying to stake my claim under the sun and look out on the beautiful green fields called life.
我唔知影你伫咧讲啥，我只是一个普通人，徛伫这个所在，享受日头，欣赏这一大片的草地，这才是生活。
All right, now that's really it for today. As always, we'd love to hear what you thought of today's program. You can leave us a comment on our Facebook page or rate and review Taiwan Talk on iTunes. You can also leave us a comment on the ICRT blog. This helps us bring you the kind of shows you want to hear and makes it easier for other people to discover the program. For ICRT, I'm Keith Menconi.